Good afternoon, students. So we'll continue with chapter 6 of geography. Major landforms. Major landforms of the earth. So we were reading about mountains, right? So we discussed about mountains, that what are mountains, some of the landforms related to the mountains, that also we discussed. So we discussed about glaciers. So glaciers are basically the frozen rivers which is found in the mountains, right? So they are basically the storehouse for water, right? The water which our rivers get, they get it from the glaciers. When glaciers melt, it comes in our rivers, correct? That we already know. Then we also discussed about mountain range. So the mountains which are there in lines, so those are called mountain range. Okay, so that also we discussed. Now we were discussing that we need to discuss importance of mountains. Why mountains are important? Okay. Importance of mountains. So, in this, first of all, the mountains are the storehouse of water. How it is storehouse of water? Because as I just told you that the glaciers are the frozen rivers in mountains. So the glaciers are there in the mountains, right? Now most of our river originate from these mountains and they get water from these mountains, these glaciers, correct? Now these rivers, these basically rivers which are coming, the glacier which is there, they are the perennial source of water. They are perennial source of water. Perennial means the water available throughout the year, the whole year. Okay, the water available the whole year, for whole year. Okay, it will never dry up. That is perennial. Okay, so our mountains are having the glaciers which are basically the frozen rivers, and many of the rivers are originated from the mountains and they get water from these glaciers, these frozen rivers, and thus if you see, the mountains are the storehouse of water, right? Now there are reservoirs which are made. The water which comes from these mountains, they are reserved in the reservoirs. So reservoirs are made and the water is harvested for the use of people. So what they do, they basically build dams. They basically build dams on these rivers, right? The rivers which are coming from the mountain, the people build dam on these rivers, and when they build dam, the water will be stored in the reservoirs. They will make the reservoirs, the water will collect when they will make the dam, right? Suppose this is the river which is coming, right? Or like this. stand like this. This is the river which is coming. If they will make a bridge dam here, the water will get collected here and this water can be reserved here. Here the reservoirs can be made and the water can be reserved. So if you see, it only not provides the water and basically we can reserve those waters and you can use them. So like this, if you see, the mountains are very important as they are having the perennial source of water. Okay. Now these waters are also used for irrigation. These waters are not only used for other things, for drinking, for household chores. In fact, it is also used for irrigation. As you know, we have agricultural lands, right? The agriculture is very important if you see in India as the perspective of India. So the water is also used for irrigation. Now when this water is reserved, the hydroelectricity is also generated. Okay, they will also generate the hydroelectricity with this water. Okay. So you can see only with one source, many of the other things can be also done. Okay. Now if you see, as we told that rivers are having, mountains are having the valleys, river valleys are there, right? Mountains are having rivers and those rivers are very useful for us in these perspectives, right? Now these mountains are also having river valleys and now river valleys are also important for us. How these river valleys are important for us? So these river valleys are ideal for cultivation of crops. See, this is the mountain and here if you have the river, so this area will be